Mr. Rick Baptist, everybody. Rick! Officially, I've got to do this here. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Rick Baptist, studio Hollywood legend.
Love it.
With Count Basie.
I love it. My wife has a surprise for me. Got 2 tickets to a new big arena in Palm Springs. It was so cool, and I got a chance to see my friends, Reggie Young and Bobby Burns, the great Bobby Burns.
Bobby Burns. Hold on a second.
Hey, Robby.
Hey, Bobby, are you there?
I'm here.
There he is.
I just found out it was your birthday, Bobby.
Well, it's actually yesterday.
Right.
What is there something about this month or trumpet players or something?
I know. Rick was yesterday. I mean, the 7th, right? So hey, Rick.
But I told him the first thing I said to him when I went backstage was, I said, Bobby, I counted, and in the opening number that you played, you had about 18 high G's, and then that wasn't enough. He ended up on a double high C that was just ridiculous. And I said, they owe you more money, buddy.
Rick, I'm just trying to keep up with what you used to do.
The bands were amazing. Gary Bias on sax, and then Chicago with Lee and Pankow was there.
You know, we're blessed. Well, first of all, whenever we play in the L.A. area, to have such a great wealth of trumpet players. Now, you've played the Frankie Valli show a zillion times. Bobby Burns, when he's not touring with Earth, Wind & Fire, has played the Frankie Valli show many times. Now, one thing that Bobby brings to the table, though, all of that choreography that you just mentioned, he brings. He is a dancing machine, too, brother.
That's great.
That's so funny you say that, because I'm not really a dancer. I just, I got a few things that I can do, and I pull them out of the trick bag every time.
I would imagine playing with Earth, Wind & Fire, and that music is so infectious. You have to dance, right? And also just to keep up with Verdine, huh?
Well, keep up with Verdine and Gary and Reggie.
Yeah, Reggie's cool, boy, I'll tell you.
Hey, Bobby Burns, what does Rick Baptist mean to the trumpet community in L.A., Hollywood?
Rick is the poster boy for the trumpet players all over the country, not just L.A. He was the guy who we emulated to try to play like, be like, business like. He makes everybody comfortable. Yeah. Sits in the seat, plays behind him. Rick, I know you probably don't remember, but I played with you, I think, once or twice, and I went, oh my God, I'm in heaven. I'm sitting beside Rick Baptist.
Wow.
Somebody who I looked up to for years, and I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
Yep. I have total respect.
Thank you.
You know, there's one thing that now, as a conductor, I've seen Rick, and I've seen him do this as well as anybody, if not better than anybody. When he sits in a horn section, he obviously plays perfectly, but he somehow, he knows how to communicate with the conductor in just the right way, with authority, yet not trying to take over the thing. But you also spearhead all of the musicians to gather around. That's a special talent that you have, Rick, to do that. And that's what lead trumpet.
It's a real special talent. And he makes everybody feel comfortable around him. Rick, come on, you're the guy who we try to be like, business-wise, trumpet-wise, and everything. Really, man, that's the truth, dude. Yeah. I've had so much respect for you, man.
Thank you, brother. That means a lot. Thank you.
Bobby Burns, everybody. Who's this young guy?
I was the way I started playing was I was about 3 years old, and I got diagnosed with asthma.
Wow.
And so when I was in the 5th grade, 10 years old, I was running around the track, and my left lung collapsed.
Oh,
and
man.
So the doctors were able to save it. And the one doctor, Dr. Feldman, I always thank him. He suggested I take up a wind instrument to build up my lungs, right? My folks, God bless them. I grew up in San Lorenzo, a little town in the Bay Area. and they went to the San Lorenzo Music Center and rented a trumpet, and it came with 3 lessons.
Wow.
And so I started this gentleman, Juanito Silva. And I was 12 years old here. I'd been playing a couple years, and he had this band that played up there. I started working with him. I just wanted to play my horn. I took every job. I did everything from playing taps, the Chinese funerals, anything that would let me play my trumpet. And that's what I've done. And thank God that God watched over me.
Amen.
And like I said, I had that piece of metal on my lip for 66 years, you know.
Huh. What was it like for you? Can you go back to that young boy and what that feeling was like when you put that trumpet to your lip?
I know it was a God's gift, so I know it just came easy, but I had great teachers. The one thing I always wanted to do was be a versatile player. My teacher wanted me to be a first trumpet in an orchestra. And so he taught me all that kind of playing, which eventually paid off unbelievable.
Oh, man. For playing in the studios, you have to play everything, right?
You have to. And that's the thing I loved doing, was playing all the different styles. For the younger players out there, listen to as many players. For me, listening to Snooky Young playing first trumpet, Basie's band, unbelievable. You could always learn. You could always learn from somebody. Oh, there you go. There's a great picture.
That's you and your your buddy. You guys go back. You go back to high school days.
High school, yeah. He was at rival high school in Oakland, and I was in San Lorenzo. And him and a few of the other guys, Mick Gillette, all the cats, man.
All the cats, man. I don't think anybody's played as many Frankie shows as you have, though, because for a long time you were the only guy that we would ever.
It was fun. I mean, we had a lot of laughs.
That's you and I up in your office. That's when I had to kiss your ring, I think. But when you were the VP, but but you were paying me back this way.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, by the way, this I think might have been one of the last live gigs that you did. This was we did a Frankie Valli show up in the Bay Area. We rehearsed in that wine cellar.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about it. You're right. That was amazing.
That was great. And that's Tom from Tower of Power, Tom Politzer. Yeah, right. That's Rocky Winslow over here on the trumpet next to you.
Oh, my gosh.
Here's another Frankie Valli gig. We had a pretty good horn section here. That's Rick Keller on sax. That's you on trumpet. Jerry Vivino on Barry. And Dave.
The trombone player.
Yeah. And then, of course, Warren Ham on sax and Harry Kim. Yep.
That was a fun gig. That was cool.
Tell the audience what it's like playing on the Academy Awards. I mean, that's the biggest show of the year.
It is. So we start rehearsals a week ahead of time. There's 130 starts, 130 cues, different starts in that 3.5-hour live show. It's an amazing show. There's always amazing musicians. I think we usually had about 55 musicians. So you start rehearsing on Sunday nights or Sunday afternoon, 11 o'clock until about 4 or 5. And then you come back on Monday and you rehearse for about 7 or 8 hours. And then on Tuesday, usually about 3-4 hours. And then Wednesday is when you first go into the pit. They would get balances on the sound and everything. And Bill Conti, God bless him, he would bring in grappa, which, you know what grappa is?
No, I have no idea.
It's like Italian, it's a wine. And so Bill, we call it grappa night because Bill will bring in like 3 or 4 or 5 bottles. Everybody gets a cup, and we would toast each other, right?
Oh,
but he always started with me, and I don't drink. I never have drank, right? And so I was always the first one to have to take grappa, and it is so strong.
Oh, no.
But so I was always the one. I faked like I was making a drink, the toast with everything. But that's Wednesday nights. And then Thursday, we usually have the day off. Friday, we went in at 6 o'clock at night, and you would run the show.
Wow.
Complete. And then Saturday, same thing. You would run the complete show. Sunday, you would come in 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, run the show for the last final time, and then you're live at 5 o'clock to the world. Like I said, it's an amazing job.
No pressure, right?
A lot of pressure, but I mean, I thrived for that. I love that part. And you don't think about making clams or whatever, but the thing that I found with all the musicians, whether it's in the studios or doing what, is that once that red light goes on, concentration is 100%. That's the most important thing I could put out there to young musicians.
Yes.
Is that, because like I said, the first time you play a piece of music down is usually the best you play because your concentration is 100%. The second time is when you start making mistakes and make clams because your concentration came down.
Yeah.
So that is hands down the most important thing, is to just concentrate all the time, listening to your plays, listening to the fellow players.
Words of wisdom that have worked well for you, my friend. It is always great to hang out with you, my friend, but even more so tonight to share some of your experiences. What an amazing career. God has blessed you in so many ways, my friend, and what a talent.
Thank you. Robby, I was so thrilled when you mentioned this to me, and I, of course, said yes in a minute. Music is the greatest thing that we can do. It is something that, whether you're playing for yourself, whether you're playing for 2 or 3 people, or playing in an auditorium like they did the other night with 11,000 people yelling and screaming, and it's an amazing thing. It really is. Music is, there's nothing better than it. Nothing better.
Well, thank you, Rick Baptist, for blessing the world on so many movies and those songs, all the music that you have made for the last 30, 40 years will go on and bless people for decades and decades to come. That's a cool thing, too.
Well, that's the thing. I have grandchildren now, and they know that Papa played on this and played on that. It's the greatest. It really is. And again, I consider the friends. And that's the thing, is you make friends for life. 50 years.
50 years.
And we will continue on.
Amen, brother. Well, God's big blessings to you and your family. All right, everybody, give a nice round of applause. The great, legendary Rick Baptist. Love it, brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much.